Welcome to this knitting podcast called Knitting at the Seaside Farm, and me called Britt. Hello and a warm welcome to this knitting podcast called Knitting at the Seaside Farm, and myself called Britt. In Norway, I often call myself Britt Strikkenerd, and I have also a Norwegian podcast called in this name, Britt Strikkenerd. But in this English-speaking podcast, I called it Knitting at the Seaside Farm, because I live on a little farm next to the sea, and then the name comes as normally it has to be Knitting at the Seaside Farm. Yes. And I live in the little island called Frøya that lie in middle of Norway, next to a town called Trondheim. Or next. It's 2 hours in the car to get in this town. But if you want to look at the map to see where I live, so it's more easy when you know that Trondheim is the nearest town, I think. Yes. And here I live on this farm with a lot of sheep and my husband Ola and a son called Sigurd, and I also have 5 other kids that now live other place in this country, but sometime they are at home, of course. But now it's only me and Ola and our son Sigurd, and the dog, and the 2 cats, and a lot of sheep, and a pig, and a goat, and a hen. Yes, a lot of animal, you know. And here I live and knit a lot. And in this podcast, I hope you get some inspiration when I'm babbling of all this knitting. And perhaps only listen and have joy of my funny English talking. That can perhaps be a good idea. And I have to thank you all for the good and warm comments and help with some English word that I have some difficult to practice. With this help, I learn a lot every time. So please, if you would help me, I will love to get a little help in these comments. So thank you all for that you have done that for me. Yes, very, very thank you. Grateful for all the help I can get. And now I'm sitting here knitting on a scarf. Yes, I have in this last week I have tidied up my yarn room a lot, and in a bag I suddenly found a forgotten project, a scarf, a long knitting scarf that is I will think it's about 5 years ago I started on it, because this is an orange scarf, and this orange scarf was something a lot of knitters knit in Norway about 5-6 years ago in a donation to the Kirkens Bymission, the church city mission, we can call it. But they have a station in the biggest town in Norway, and some other place also in Norway. And they help a lot of people in the street. Often they who has a alcoholic problem, narcotica. Yes, a lot of these people that live on the street, they often get a lot of help from this Kirkens Bymission. And in October, a lot of year, we have had this knitting helping with that all the knitters can knit orange scarf that they delivering out to the people on the street to get a warm winter. A little help for a warmer winter, you can say. And I suddenly find this scarf that I not have been finished with. It's not this knittings this year, I think, knitting collection for this orange scarf in this church, but I think I shall do it finished and I shall take it with me to Trondheim. I shall to Trondheim next week in the competition of vocal choir, and then I can visit in the church and ask if they want this scarf. Is perhaps they can have a use for it. And I also have these 2 hats I also have knit to give away for a good things in Trondheim, I hope. So now I am knitting finish this scarf, and I use some wool and alpaca so it get very warm, I will think. Yes. And I also sit in on something else in orange, orange and orange. And this is a dress. This dress I finished some times ago because I started this dress when I was in this boat journey and holiday on our sailboat along the Norwegian coast, you know. Yes, and every Saturday in this holiday I could start a new project. And this was one of the first I started with, a dress called Caffè Latte dress. This is the design of a Norwegian designer called Marte Helgetun. I don't know if she has any pattern in English, but it's a very easy pattern, you know. Yes, and I have used a yarn called Line from Sandnes that I think you are familiar with this yarn company in Norway called Sandnes, and they have this Line. And I use the orange at the top, and so it's black the rest of it. And I some picture that you can see me in the whole person with this dress, because it's a little difficult to show you here in this television, this YouTube skjerm, yes, picture, yes. So I set in some picture of me when I dancing in this little dress in at the next to the sea in this area I live, and you can see it all. Dancing and I have not used it very much in this last weeks, but I think in October when we got in this Halloween orange autumn month, I will take it on me again, I will think. Yes. Oh yes, is that to come into this English language, to talk and speak, and that I often say I do as good as I can, and I hope to get better and better for every episode. Yes. Oh yes, yes, yes. But that was a finished object, and I also have this project that I going on to. Yes. So that was something to start with. And now I will show you some mittens I talked about it in the last episode, I think. This Scandinavian Christmas mittens of Wenche Roald, that I talk a little about Wenche Roald every episode, I think. You know, I have this knit along called this jumper Villfreda, and if you go to my Revelry page, a group that I have, so it's called Knitting at the Seaside Farm. There you can find this knit along with Villfreda. And I also have make a page there with, you can go and see all the pattern that Wenche has in English. Yes, there you will find all the pattern that you can go into, and you trykke button chop in the bottom to this lenke, that you can find that pattern that is in English. Yes, and this Scandinavian mittens is in English. Yes, it's called Scandinavian Christmas mittens, I think. And when we talk at the last episode, I have come to this Lucia, you know, and no, I have both of them finished, and it's so fun knitting. It's happening things all the way, and you can use a lot of your yarn that you have left, it's called. Yes, and here it is this Lucia, and there is a lighting, and Santa Claus, or Nisse we call it in Norway, and a snowman and a Christmas tree. But I have to show you the funniest, and that make me so happy, my happy heart jumping when I see like this in pattern, that in this top you can see this little star. That is so fun. And even more in this, I think. Wait a little minute. So it's so funny when the designer can make so little Finnish pattern that is a little exclusive point, I will think. Oh, so I warm recommend it to knit this if you want. Yeah, I have used some Rauma finull, but you can use something else in fine wool, I will think. But if you want a special Christmas mittens, this is absolutely something to knit. And I talk about Wenche Roald's mitten last episode, but forget you a little. Remember, I take some picture in here now that you can see only these Christmas mittens that you can knit, and it's in English. Here it comes. I hope you get some inspiration to knit some Christmas mittens from Wenche Roald, and we can knit it along, have a knit along on it if you are interested. Yes, perhaps we can do it in November together, knit some Christmas mittens from Wenche Roald. Yes, but now I take a little break and take a change on these clothes because I have a very, very nice jumper to show you. Ta-da! And here you see this fire of light. I show you the yarn the last episode, and that I just have started of this fire of light jumper. That I have bought this yarn from a shop in Oslo called Strikkefeber. If I translate it, I can call it knitting, knit fever, I think. Yes. They have this fat mohair in this amazing color, and I call it lysglimt, and I can translate it as fire of light. Yes, and I feel like a fire of light in this jumper. But it's amazing, and it is so it's just fun knitting, and it's a fast knitting because I used a needle of 8, and yes, get finished in a little week. That is not so usually that I get to finish at a week in this knitting jumper project. No, but here it is, and it is a very happy knitting. Perhaps not a jumper that old woman that I am, so soon 60 years, yeah, it's 3 years from 60, but I am a woman with a high age. So that's this yarn perhaps is more from this young people, but I love it and I don't care. I will have it on me, and I go in this area. I like a fire of light. Yes, so very, very happy to get finished with it, and it is a very cozy jumper. It starts with a rolled neckline, and then it's have a raglan in little pattern different is this pearl knitting as a stripe. It's called stripe on, I have to see what it's called, stripe across, it's called the jumper. And the jumper, the pattern I get with the yarn. Yes, I asked the shop if they have some pattern that go to this yarn, and they say they have their own pattern that I could get free if I knit with the yarn and both the yarn, and then I do. And I want to have a very easy that easy jumper, easy sweater that the yarn can blow out and show it. That's amazing, that is. Yes, and that I feel I could do in this happy jumper, fire of light. And to go into this dark season in the autumn and winter, I can needle this jumper to get a little light in my life, I think. Yes, so finish very fast with this happy jumper. So let's go further. In the last episode I was talking about that I have some yarn in my stash a very long time, a very thick wool yarn called naturgarn, soft natur yarn you can call it, from yarn fabric called Gjesdal in Norway. And I have this yarn for about 20 years, and now I have this hope to get it out from my stash and go into something else. And I show you what I have think to knit, and I show you the first finish project of it. This seat pad, this felted seat pad. And this is also knit with high needles, 8 needles in a jupa. And I love the lot of leftover yarns and the balls I have, and make these stripes. And I think it's get very well. And started to knit a lot of others. And the yarn I have left, it was about 600 to 700 yarn, and I get 3 new set pad, but my washing machine was not helping me a lot. that to felt it thing in the washing machine is every time a little exciting, I think. Perhaps I think it's have its own life in this washing machine. I have no control, and that is a very exciting life to live when you put this knitting project in this washing machine, and you have this hope to what it shall be. But sometimes it get a little not what we expect it to be. But it is a felted set pad. Yes, you can use it as a felted set pad. But it was much more not so big that I wanted. This is perfect size. This is a perfect size, but the 3-1 was felted a little hard. So it was a little mindre, smaller, it's called perhaps smaller, yes. But it's only it's felt it very hard, and you will not get wet if you use this in the nature. No, it's a very, very good felted seat pad, but perhaps not to adult, more to children. But I know a lot of children that can get this seat pad. If I not will use it as a seat pad, I can use it at perhaps as a, what is it called, pot holder, that you can set your pot on, the warm pot you are cooking dinner of. I can perhaps use a saucer and knit and clip it out, a circle perhaps, and make a pot holder of it, perhaps. But I knit all this stash out of my stash. Yeah! And I'm so happy that I get finished with it. But I also, when I tidy the yarns, the room of me, I find some other thick wool yarn called fritidsjarn from Sandnes. And I have one ball of each color and a lot of leftovers, these little yarn balls. And I think, yes, I can use these little balls also in this seat pad. So now I make a new seat pad, and I shall take a little beware of this washing machine next time. I shall take it a little down to this grade, I think. Not so much as I used last time. So I hope it goes better, and it will be a seat pad that will pass to an adult and not a children. Yes. So we can see. But I knit very much last week. It was a light fire on my knitting needles, I will say, because 3 this seat pad and this jumper, I almost knit 1 kilo of yarn last week, and that I never do before, I think. So it was fire and the needles and the needle knitting, and perhaps I was so motivation to get of this yarn out of my stash. So happy that now I say goodbye to all of this nature yarn soft from Gjesdal. But now let's talk about my yarn passion, my yarn garter, I think it's called, my yarn nerd, my joy of yarn. Yes, I don't know what word I can use it, but I love yarn. Yes, you know, and I have a lot of it, and I not need anything new. But suddenly in the last week, a store shout out that they shall have their final sale on yarn. They have a sale on this yarn last year, and now a lot of shops have changed, and they have a lot of final sale of things they have had in the store that was before. Yes, I think you understand. Yes, but now it was the final sale, and I think no, I don't need anything. I have a lot of yarn. I can knit whatever I want, and it go well the first day. But the next day, when I say that I have some yarn left, then I take my car, drive to the center of this island, and get to have some yarn. When the yarn cost about £1, under £1 of each ball, you know, you have to have it. Yes, and I know that it was only this cotton yarn that was left, and I not use so much cotton, but I want it well. I want it. And I get amok. I don't know what it get crazy in this store. Or I get on this, you can call it a yarn bank, perhaps? Yes. I don't know. But some yarn be with me at home, the new yarn that only cost under £1 of the balls. And I say to myself that I have a plan. I have a plan for everything that I know what get in my house. And yes, perhaps, but perhaps it not be in that plan I say when I bought it. When I get in the store, I say, oh, I can knit a lot of biker's twine. You see it here. It's a very popular, I will also call it a pot holder. Yes, very popular pot holder. They knit here in Norway. A lot of the knitting podcasters have this baker's twine. It is a very easy pot holder pattern that you use 3 thread of yarns of cotton and little smaller needles, and you get this fast, hard, good pot holder to take your pot on this hot pot on your comfort. I don't comfort. What is comfort in English? Perhaps I need some help, and I write it here if it's not the same word. Yes, but that I think I can have some cotton yarn to use in this baker's twine, but perhaps not so much. And you know, I have this challenges to myself to kill my stash, but I also have this challenge to make some Christmas present, and a lot of this yarn shall be in some Christmas present, I think. The first I will show you is a bulky cotton yarn from Sandnes called Mandarin Grande. I don't know if they have it more. I don't think so. But it's a very bulky, thick bumbles, cotton yarn in English, that I shall use in good pot holders. It's a free pattern from Sandnes themselves that I found in their company. And it's only Domini knitted pot holders that knitted in 2 thread of this yarn. So you can use a lot of it in one in a pair of pot holders. So I use 4 balls, and I think it's that it will be a good Christmas present. You always need good pot holders in your home, I think. So I finish already with a pair of a pot holder in this happy orange color, and I have enough to knit 2 more, only 2 more, because it goes so much in this yarn when you knit this pot holder. So here you are, yes, I have 1 more of this pink one and a blue one, and I also have 2 more of this blue, so it can be a leftover pot holder. I think it get a little leftover from each of these balls when I knit 1 pair of these, so that I can get a color one pot holder to myself, perhaps. So that is the first project from this yarn I bought on this finally sale. And I also took with me some mandarin petite and also orange. It's funny that it's always the orange that is left. It's not so many people that is in love with the orange, I think, but I am. So it's very good for me. I will always find some happy orange yarn on the final sale. Yes. And this mandarin petite, this orange one, I have a plan to use in a singlet, in the summer singlet called Cecilia top, that the Paula Støtt has designed it. You see it here on my side here. And that is a little challenge for me because I shall knit it from the top. First I knit the back and then I knit forward, and then you can get it together. That I never do before, so that will be a new thing for me, and I think that is a good experience to learn something new. So I shall use this happy orange yarn to this Cecilia top. And I know it's not summer more, but I think it could be nice under a black jacket perhaps, or perhaps I can use it as a vest and have a nice shirt, yeah, yes, jumper under this. So we will see. I don't know when I shall start, but I have very I could think to start at once. Yes, I think it's a funny little challenge to try this pattern. And I also get some pink and purple mandarin petite, and in this purple I think I should knit a little children dress to a little girl I know that will be 2 years, I think, in February next year. And I found also there in Sandnes free pattern of a dress in like a waves pattern that I like very much, and I think it could be very nice to this little girl to get this purple little dress to Christmas perhaps, that she can take on her these Christmas days. And perhaps this one shall be a baker's twine. I have some more, and I can use it with a white perhaps, and then you get a very nice little baker's twine. Then if you not have knit a baker's twine, I won't recommend it because it's a very fun knitting project, and you can use a lot of this yarn stash you have. So here, you know, I am very opptatt. Yes, yes, my spirit to use all this yarn that have been all the time in your stash and now have to go away to get new one in. Yes, we can say it like this. And so I find some black line, and I have also used line in my dress. I show you in the start of this episode in this cafe latte dress. And I found 3 balls of line, and I have also 1 ball left from this cafe latte dress, and that shall be in an ranunculus of Midori, yeah, Midori Hirose, she called. And I have knit ranunculus before. Last autumn I knit this orange ranunculus in a thin pear gynt with a mohair, and I love it. You know, this orange, I love this orange color. And in the autumn I think it's lovely to use orange. I am a very autumn human, I think. I love the autumn. Yes, I love the color and I love the season. Before we get into November. November I hate. November is the darkest month in Norway, I think. And I have a little problem with this month, but I am working to do it much better. Yes, every year I'm working to do it much better. One of the things I do is to start my celebration of Christmas. I start to celebrate my little Christmas 1st of November. Not that I have the Christmas tree and I have a lot of packet, but I take this time to do good things for myself that is a little Christmas relation. Yes, and I will talk about that when we go into the November, that you can be with me in my November moods and my work to do this month a better way for me. Yes, and knitting helping me a lot in this month. Yes, and I also bought some baby wool that I can knit doll's cloth or something to little people that I know. So in this color, yes, this autumn color they also are. Yes, and so good, so long. And I think I have a little control to that point, but then I get crazy. Yes, we have to say that, because in a little yes, bag, comfort, I don't know what to call it, kasse, case, kasse, yes, I don't know, but there I found a lot of this yarn called Mjuk. It's a deco cotton yarn, a little hard perhaps, but then I get in this passion of that I think that I should learn myself to crochet. I'm not a crocheter. I cannot crochet, but I have done it. I can do it if I get a very step-by-step instruction. Yes, then I can go to it. And now in this YouTube world you get a lot of good instructions videos, so I think, okay, now I can go into this crochets this autumn, learn something new, do something other things that not only crochet this granny square, but I can knit, not knit, crochet, I can crochet a granny square, yes, little granny square, and I never do it so much at it could be a blanket, and that I know I shall not start a blanket project because that will take so much time, and then it will be in my stash, and only I found this project that will be many years lay back in my stash yarn project bags. Yes, no, I don't want to crochet knitting. I not crochet a blanket. Perhaps little things, I think. Perhaps a bag. I see so much beautiful crochet bags in YouTube and on Ravelry, and I think, oh, perhaps I can make myself a little bag. And so I also have this passion. I get a present 2 years ago from one of my viewers, a little a coaster, I think it's called, a little coasters. And I only have one, and that is not that I get from my friend, that I have crocheted. You see this little flower, and that was so fun to crochet, and I had crochet too. But if you see all the yarn I have, I can I will think I can crochet 400 perhaps. But perhaps I also shall crochet a bag, but it's a very little funny project to do, and this can also be a Christmas gift. I have a plan to crochet a 6 as a little one present, and perhaps buy some tea mugs with, and perhaps get this also with this present. And I think it will be a nice handmade present from me. Yes. And the YouTube instruction I followed is from one called Ronari Crochet, and I can try to remember it and link it under this episode on YouTube. Yes, that if you want to crochet something similarly, you can go there. But very, very funny, called flower coasters, and you see I can crochet a lot. But that is a tips from me if you want to have something to do in Christmas gift. That is a very easy peasy, yes. But I hope to could crochet a bag also. You will see. If a blanket, it will be a baby blanket, not a adult blanket. That will never happen because my passion is patient. My patience is not so good that I will stand all the time out this big project. No. Okay, that was all with my yarn gathering and yarn bang of this final sale. And you see, I have a lot of plans. So I hope it can be realized. Yes. But let's talk more about Christmas. In the last episode, I tell you that I could organize a little Christmas. I called it swap, but thank you to what's your name? Sandra, I think. That name in the comment that you not see swap, but you see swap. And perhaps other than will understand what I mean. I want to have a Christmas swap. Then you can change the Christmas calendar with each other. And I don't then think about that you could have a 24 present or a 25 that more similar in the other country. I think we could have one gift every Sunday and one at the Christmas Day or Christmas Eve that you can change with this or swap that you also call it. And I have write this in this group of mine in Ravelry. You have to go in this Ravelry group called Knitting at the Seaside Farm. You found it in this Ravelry. And there I have want to swap a Christmas calendar, yes. And I think we can organize it that we have, I give you friends that will can swap with each other, but I have to know it before 8th of October. Because, it takes some time to send it out lands and in other lands. And but perhaps we can do it together. I only have one that have say that she is interested to swap, and if it's only be one, then it will be me and you. But in English, I also have this practice that in my Norwegian YouTube channel, I always gifted away one Christmas calendar to one of you viewers. For free. Yes. And if you want a Christmas calendar from me, and in this calendar it will be 24 little presents in some yarn, a pattern, some knitting markers perhaps, or something else. Then you also have to go to this Ravelry group, Knitting at the Seaside Farm, and the only thing you have to do is write in this comments under there where I write, do you want a Christmas calendar? And you write, yes, I do, and yes, I wish to have a own Christmas calendar. And I will draw a winner after 8th of October. So this is a present for me, for you, to you, if you want. But you have to do it in the Revelry group, yes. Then, yes, I have a questions. And oh, where it is now? I have this little, but I don't have it. Here it is. Yes. You know, in the last episode, I was talking of this rowberry. Yes, that I have picked up some rowberry around my area. And here is a little rowberry heart that I have made. Yes, and I will use a little thread of steel. I don't know what it's called in English, but you see, yes, it get a little heart. And one of you viewer in the comments asked me, but what can you do to stop it drying out? And I think, oh, I don't know. You see, mine have dried out. You see that it's get some little rose in, but I think it's nice. Self of the drying, yes. That this it's still red, and that I think is nice. And I shall take it on a little card. Take it down to it. And or lime, I have to write it down. I don't know what it's in English. To a card, then I think it will be nice. But I have to go to the big Google and still this question. What can you do to stop to drying out this strawberry? And then I get this tips that if you can use glycerine. I don't know what it is, but you can get this on the apotheke, yes, health place, yes, and then if you then use glycerine with one, and I have to diluted in water in a ratio of 1 glycerine and 2 ratio of water. Then you cool it down to the room temperature, and then you have all this rowberry in this water, and they have to be there for about 5-6 days, and then you dry it, and then it not will be drying out so fast. Yes, that was the tips that I read in the big Google. But I don't think I will do that. I only use it as it is. And make little heart that I can use on my Christmas cards, I think. Yes. So that was the tips from the big Google. And thank you for the questions, and thank you for all the good comments. I love the comments. I love the help you give to me, and I love all the love you give to me from these comments. Thank you very much. I'm so grateful. Then we have come to this end of this episode, I think, and the last I will say happy knitting, happy making, happy whatever you do, and take care, and I will see you soon. We all knitting. Goodbye. Ha det bra.